Welcome to In Heels with Keni Silva. Most people know today's guest as Bella and Gigi Hadid's dad. But besides the headlines, there's a story of true resilience. Mohamed Hadid came to this country at a young age without speaking any English and built his own legacy by creating the most amazing hotels and homes around the world. Welcome, Mohamed Hadid.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you for coming and sharing your amazing story of true resilience. And on In Heels, we always talk about women overcoming things. And today we actually have a man who also struggled in his life to get where he is today and overcame so many challenges, just even how you started. How old were you when you came to this country?
I was 15 years old.
And you did not know any English?
Not at all. I was when I was a refugee from Palestine at 6 days old. We went to Syria. From Syria, we went to Lebanon. From Lebanon to Tunisia. And from Tunisia, we came here. My father was in Voice America. So he was transferring back and forth different parts of the world. Eventually, we actually went to Greece. But we finally immigrated to Washington, D.C. area. So my father was working in Washington, D.C. in the USIA. As was the head of the Voice America Arabic section. And I was 10th grade in Washington Lee High School.
Which is the hardest time, I think, to come. But do you think because you traveled so much and you've been to different schools and you've been adjusting to different cultures, it somehow helped you?
Of course.
To adjust with American kids? Although American kids, I think, is so different from anywhere in the world because it just a culture alone is so different. And Virginia,
at that time in the 70s, I think I came in the 60s, 64, 63, 64. So the schooling system was different than today. Now you have in schools you have English as a second language. You have everything else, but at that time, if you don't know English, you're stuck. You're sitting there like lost duck. And you actually don't know what they're saying. You don't know what you're reading. You're just kind of looking for someone to help you.
How long did it take you to even understand a little bit English, not alone just to pass 10th grade?
Yeah, by that time, we spoke French, Arabic, and Greek. So I had 3 languages under my belt before English. So kind of
which I would imagine in Virginia, it's not that many people spoke those languages.
There was only 3 foreigners at the time, myself, another Cuban guy, and French person. And that was it in that school, the whole school. So I tried to adapt as quickly as possible. There were some young ladies who wanted to help me with English. And the funny thing is, the minute we arrived, like within 3-4 days, they give you a what they call a quick test. English. So they give it to you, and you're looking at something that you have never seen before. Thank God there was a young lady who kind of came to help me, and she did actually. But of course, it took me about 4, 5, 6 months before I was able to have a few sentences together.
To talk.
Yeah.
Did you know when you were at that high school where you want to go after? Or you just were adjusting to the whole system, to the new country? Or you had in mind, like, you know what, after this, I want to start designing. I want to be an architect.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I was, as I said, 15 years old. My mind that always wanted to be an architect. I used to travel with my mother to Egypt, and I used to see these beautiful, big, pyramids. And that was I want to do this big thing. Everything was big. Big was in my head from day one. But at the time, of course, I didn't have a chance to immediately put myself into that kind of mindset. So I started, the first year I designed and created a piece that became very big eventually, that I sold to my teacher. Was a system, electronic system with a speaker, and where I transferred the wire into a speaker, which kind of gives it a little bit of they call it point. So you do that and it does something for you. Turn lights on, off.
Like remote control.
Like remote control, without me knowing that's what's going to happen. So
you always had the engineering mind.
I had the engineering
to create,
but I didn't have the language to transfer it. So everything was so hard, as I have to show them what's in my mind rather than talking. It's just showing. It was like I wanted to kind of like put something in front of them. They know that I have the intelligence to, or at least the ambition to go forward.
Which is amazing. What did that teacher did with that invention?
Eventually, I sold it to him, and there's a company name, called the clicker. The clicker is something that you turn off and on. When you walk into a room, you want to turn on a light, you go like this, 1, and then off, 2.
Wow.
So this kind of thing became very famous later on.
This is incredible. And this is the time you already were thinking that there is something with the design or creating, engineering. Did you want to go to engineering school?
Yeah, the only problem at the time, I didn't have English to support me, because there was no one else. There's nothing in the school except French and Spanish. They used to teach as a second language. There was no Arabic or anything else. So that I had to kind of compensate. I was never able to even master the language. Even until now, my language is, because I didn't master it at the young age. So I kind
still managed to get in to college and graduate.
Eventually, it was by 12th grade, I was able to go to college. I went to several schools.
And that story is actually very interesting, because
there's different.
Even you couldn't go directly to the college you wanted. You figure out the way how to get where you wanted. Actually,
I did, yes. I was playing soccer at the time, and I was the captain of the team. And I used to kick football soccer style. Soccer style. And then the football team invited me to come kick for them football. So last 3 games I played for them, and somehow I won the games for them, which I didn't even know that I was actually doing that, because just kick and I run back to the bench. Eventually, I got a scholarship at Duke University for kicking football soccer style. And that's how I got my first scholarship. When I got there, I was like 125 pounds. I was, very thin. Because I was not only a soccer player, a football player, I was also a runner. So I was pretty thin and lean. So I was literally 135 pounds. So I went to Duke University. I was playing the first game. And at the first game, I kicked the football very well. And I ran back to the bench. And the coach said to me, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I just came back because I can't be, there's like 10,000 pounds in front of me. You think I am going to, sit down there and kill myself." So he said, "This is going to be your last semester." So from there on, I had, of course, trying to, scam myself into other things.
So the way you think about life, I guess, when you cannot have a direct access to something, you will figure it out how to get there.
I figured it out.
So it's pretty mathematical mind.
Well, I have to kind of figure out how, because my father at the time was a public servant. So you don't make a lot of money as a public servant. It means at the time he had 8 kids. His mother was blind, my mother. So he had a lot of responsibilities. And he had 3 daughters going to the same college, the same time as me. So of course I kind of have to take back and say, I'm going to take care of myself. So I I was looking at at Duke University, there was a newspaper named Raleigh-Durham newspaper for Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina. So I opened it up, and there was a little thing going on there. And I was looking at it. It says, white players needed, Shaw University. You will get education. I'm going, well, what can I lose? Whoever they are, I have no idea. But it's in Raleigh. So I took my car and drove to Raleigh. I finally kind of found the place. I found the place. I couldn't find it first. So I went to the fire station. I said, do you know where Shaw University is? They said, you're looking at it right there. Now I'm looking at this university. It was like literally barbed wires all around it. But I didn't know. So I just walked in. I went to look at this guy. Want to talk to this guy named Mr. Everett. So I went to his office. I said, Mohamed Hadid. He said, but you're not white. I said, I'm white. I mean, at the time I had blonde, blue eyes. He wanted, white
American
name. I'm white guy. So anyway, he took me in because there was nobody else actually at the time. 1967 was not exactly the all black school. I didn't care.
But that helped you to...
Cheston Everett took me in, and he gave me my chance to be in college. I didn't care if it was black, white, purple, nothing. I mean, I'm looking around. I was the only one.
To achieving your dream.
And from there on, of course, they not only they gave me a chance to be in college, they gave me a chance to be in any college I want. At the time, there was like a black student need to have so I was black. I'm colorless, but at that time, I was black. I was a student at that university. So they gave me an opportunity to go to NC State, to UNC, to MIT. I was able to go to all these colleges from the back door without even paying a single dime. The whole time I was in all these schools. I could have gone to Harvard if I want, because that's part of the curriculum, the way they have worked through the government assistance, that their students can go anywhere they want.
So what college did you pick?
I picked NC State and then MIT.
Wow. And then you decided to go back to Virginia? Or...
Yes. Well, yeah, after graduation, I did. I went back to Virginia and I started doing some work. Eventually, I did extremely well. And at one time, 78, 79, I was going to Greece. My father transferred from Washington, D.C. to Rhodes, the island of Rhodes, where they have station for Voice America. So my whole life kind of like travel.
You traveled around the world.
But it didn't matter. I felt like comfortable.
But where did you start your career in building hotels?
Yeah.
Buildings?
Yeah. Well, I've always had that vision of creating something. So when I graduated I would graduate with my degree, I got an opportunity to have a very nice Jewish gentleman from Florida asked me, because he gave an opportunity to the architectural class to design his house in Florida.
So that's how he started.
He invited me to do I won. Actually, it was more like winning. He won it if he likes what you want. And he gave me a lot of money. It was really, really a very nice
That was the first good paid job for you that opened the doors to other opportunities.
Yes. He did open a huge, because that was the money that I used to go and open up a nightclub in Greece. That made me a lot of money that I was able to go and buy properties in Washington, D.C.
So you always had a mind of making money. It wasn't just...
Making money was kind of one of my things, but didn't come easy.
But you could, if you see an opportunity that will make money, you will grab it. It doesn't matter if it's architecture, if it's a business, or anything. Yeah. What was the first hotel that you built?
I built several hotels. Well, it was not only hotels. I did a lot of architectural buildings in Washington, D.C.
But building a hotel and just architectural building is completely different.
But you still have to still have a building that you have to deal with, regardless if it's a hotel or if it's a office building and or shopping center or just a single homes. That I had in my mind. I could have done any of them at the time. So I did start I built the Ritz-Carlton in Washington, D.C., one in New York City, one in Aspen, Colorado. And that's over the years, several of them. I built the one in Barcelona, but it was not a Ritz-Carlton, but it was they called the Arts, because Ritz-Carlton did not have the rights to build any Ritz-Carltons anywhere in Europe. So they call it Arts Hotel, but managed by Ritz-Carltons.
What was the hardest hotel to build?
Ritz-Carlton in Aspen, Colorado.
Why?
It was because of the city and sensitivity to heights and how large. So I had to fight the fight at the time. So it was one of these things that I really want to do. And at the time, I bought a lot of land in Aspen, Colorado. I built a lot of houses for sale. I built one for myself, for my family. But mostly the design of the building had to be according to certain specification, which is the city itself. It's a Victorian style architecture, so I had to do it that way. And it was well done, and until today, it's still
it's still one of the best hotels in Aspen.
Yeah, well,
and it still remained the same. When was it built?
It was started in 1988, 89. I bought the land in 1986, but I had a little of headache with a certain person who wanted to buy it himself, Donald Trump. Of course, I won it. I built it.
Which hotel was the most structurally hard to build?
The one in Laguna Niguel, but that was
Really?
not my hotel. I built it for the Ritz-Carlton
Because it was close to the water?
It used to be a trailer park. It used to be the whole area around Laguna Niguel was all trailers.
So it was
And there
the
were
first hotel
people-
in that area.
It was trailer park.
Wow.
And the land next to it was Ritz Cove, was also a trailer park. The whole area was trailer park. So the guy named Bill Johnson, who owned Ritz-Carlton management team, asked me if I would help him with it, and I did.
But that hotel you built once you already came to California.
Yeah. No, I came to California for that job. Came to California to
Just
live
for
in
that job.
1990.
And when I was actually asking about which was the hardest hotel, I was actually referring to the first hotel you built in Qatar.
Yeah. Because it was not mine. I was building it for the government, for the city. That was the first actually major project in Qatar. I mean, now you see hundreds of them. And it was a wonderful time to work there because I was pretty much by myself.
And why was it hard to build?
It was hard to build because at the time, there was no roads. There was no infrastructure whatsoever. Hard to get anything there. So they had to build it according to certain designs. And this building they thought they're going to build it in the sand. But when you do a study, it shows you that it doesn't have a bottom. So I had to build it in the water because there's a rock base in the water. And then you bring the land to it. So it was kind of difficult and complicated. But it was became the kind of the center of
And it
Doha,
was
Qatar.
so many years ago. And now if you go to Qatar, you still see that everything is basically built around that area.
Correct.
So you had to think so much into the future.
Yeah. And I created pretty much all the transportation center around it. So the roads were created by me. So that kind of was the center. And it was like on the corner of the water. So it looks like this was it and go from there.
Which is incredible.
It was incredible.
What brought you to California?
California, when the market collapsed in Washington, D.C. in the 80s, it was a collapse with all the real estate market. Suddenly you're giving away back the buildings to the banks and so on and so forth. So I had to get another, I want to do something else.
So this was the pivot in your life where you had to basically start all over.
Yes. There's a lot of great developers who kind of lost everything also. I was partners with the Rockefellers. I was with Donahue's, and all these people in Washington, D.C., we all went under.
Yeah.
So at that time.
So were you thinking to come to California and build, or do something completely different? What was the intention, and why was California, not New York?
I want to change. At the time, by that time, I already did the projects. Washington, D.C., I bought the hotel in New York. So I didn't really have anything. I didn't want to go to anywhere. I was already there.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to go somewhere fresh. Nobody knows me. I'm new in town. But I went into something completely different, not real estate. I went into stock because stocks you can sell. I didn't even know how to buy stocks. But of course, you learn very quickly. If you are desperate, you find a way to enter a business of some kind that makes money much faster than building anything or buying anything and trying to build it. It gave me a kind of push. I made pretty good money doing that. I didn't even know that I didn't like it. And the minute I made money and I bought land and I bought this, I bought that.
So you went back to...
I went back to my love.
But you started building homes.
Yes.
Do you like building more homes or hotels?
I prefer to do both. I like to do the building of the homes because you start talking to people how they want, what they want. I don't build homes. Which
sometimes can be a challenge because you can have a beautiful vision and then, the owners might say, you know what, I don't want that. And then you had to change.
Literally, I didn't have a specific, it's not like some architects have a specific, they do only modern. I used to do classic mostly. But the reason why I always worked with owner who else wants to buy something or the market or the area. So I will look at it. Also, I talk to the future owners. What do they want? They want classic? I can do it. I can do classic, I can do modern, I can do mid-century. I pretty much I can evolve whenever I want at that time, and it worked for me.
I want to talk about something else, which a lot of people actually don't know. At one time, you were actually in Olympic Games. And how did that happen? How from building, losing, doing stocks, you decided, you know what, I might as well go and, be an Olympian?
I was suicidal.
I guess that was the moment when the market collapsed, you already lost everything, and you decided, what else can I gamble off? Just my life.
Yeah, well, I met a great guy named Franz Weber. Franz Weber was he was at the time the world champion and gold medalist in speed skiing, which is designed to kill you. You go downhill at 122, 130 miles per hour, or 222 kilometers always about. So that's kind of the speed. And between the first and the second, it's like 1/10 of 1,000% of a second. That's from, so he asked me, he said, do you want to ski? I said, I don't know how to ski. He said, I'm going to teach you.
Wait, you didn't know how to ski at the time?
No, I learned not at the time of going to the Olympics. Before we met in Aspen.
So you just regular skiing?
Regular skiing. So I learned, and then I started skiing with them. And one time he said, come with me to a certain area. And I went there. He said, ski with us. I said, you're going to go down this? He said, yes. You're going to follow me. I said, follow you? I will never be able, I'll kill myself.
So you were hesitant to speed ski?
I was hesitant. Well, remember, speed skiing is a tremendous. First, you have to be extremely strong. Your body has to be able to, we have to be great skier first, which I wasn't. Their legs have to be as big as the trunks of a tree. I wasn't. So the only thing that you can have, if you're able to put your body so far down, so the wind will not stop you. So you can actually go fast. So I said, I'll do it. I'll try it. So we went to, it took me to a place named Portillo, Chile. Portillo, Chile has the highest mountain for speed skiing. That's where everybody goes to practice. There's no place in the USA. Or you go to places like Pasadena in the wind tunnel. So you practice in the wind tunnel.
So you decided you're going to go.
But I wanted to find out if I could.
Oh, okay, you were just going to learn. It wasn't like set in stone, I'm going to go to the Olympics.
You know, I dreamt about it because I thought, oh, that'd be great. I mean, like, I was already old. These kids are like 19, 20.
Well, how old were you at the time?
At the time was like, I was about 39, 40.
But I mean, it sounds really good. Like, hey, I'm going to win Olympics. Like, I think every man wants that. It's something.
I never thought I'm going to win. I thought.
Okay, you just wanted to be in there.
I want to do it, but I don't want to die. I didn't care. I knew I was not going to do it. That these guys are all literally, they are like, every one of them is like a tree. Even the women have the legs as thick as a tree. So I said, listen, let's do it. So eventually we went to Portillo, Chile. We trained in the wind tunnel. We trained other places. And eventually I went, there was Olympics coming in 1992 Olympics. He said, well, I think you're ready. I said, ready for what? He said, we're going to take you. You're going to get you have to get Jordan, because you have a Jordanian passport, you can have Jordan.
You represent Jordan.
Yeah. So I
But
did.
do you think he offered you this because it's not that many people that actually participate in that sport?
There was very, very few. Very difficult. I mean, I skied it.
Well, not just difficult. This is
Like
dangerous.
almost
This is
every
like kiss
time.
of death. Like, hey,
Yeah.
gambling with life, this is it.
It's true. Actually, I was
That's a good place. If you want to put insurance on somebody and then send them there, that's guaranteed. You probably have 70% of getting your money back.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when we were in Albertville, we had to go, we couldn't do it in Albertville where the city, as the skiing town is. We had to go to another area. So we went to Zark. That's where the speed skiing event was. And I saw people, I'm going, you know something? If I die, I die. You know, like, it's not going to happen.
So you didn't have you were not scared?
No, not scared at all.
What about the moment you standing before you go and you look down?
Well,
like, didn't your heart start beating faster?
One thing I did know, Marielle, my daughter, she called Franz Weber herself. She said, if my father dies, I'm going to kill you.
That's so sweet.
I
guess they were worried for you more than you were worried
I think
for
so,
yourself.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't worried at all. I mean, I'm always for something fun and doing something crazy, and I wanted to do it. So when I went to Lazark and I was able to get into the Olympics, I said, let me try it. And the guy in front of me, he's from Switzerland, and you know they're great skiers there. He got off the track and he went across to a machine, hit himself, literally died on the spot. And that's the guy in front of me, because you have to go on a. So
you saw him.
I saw him
dying in front of you,
right in front of me.
And you were the next one, and you still decided, you know what, I'm going to take a chance.
I couldn't go back, because you are on a track. You walk there to the end, and that's where you jump into the track.
What went through your mind when you?
Nothing. I just I just said, okay.
Did you close your eyes?
No. I just jumped in and I went about 122 miles per hour or something. I mean,
how many seconds is that?
How
many seconds?
Oh, that's 10 seconds. 10
seconds. Yeah. Wow.
10 seconds.
That's and then all. What? You open your eyes and like, okay,
no, you can't just open up. You have to go down. I said, you trained, you do it. I've done it before because I had to train for this. So by the time you get down to the bottom, you have to get up very slow, because otherwise, you have to literally become like this so there's no wind friction at all. So you literally you're flying above the snow. The snow is like hard, and you're flying in, and you're literally you hear like how you take off an airplane, like and you go down. And by the time you get to the bottom, you have to start getting up slowly, because if you start up to get up very quickly, it blows you away. So, I made it. I didn't die.
You made it.
I probably was.
How was the feeling after, when you actually realized that you did something so threatening?
I just thought, I'm not dead. A lot
of people, when they face that life,
I didn't have
death situation, there's something in them changes. And maybe this is the time you came to California. I'm like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to, I'm like a falcon. I'm going to create something amazing again.
I wasn't thinking like, I've done other things. I played soccer. I was
playing soccer and jumping.
Same thing.
Well, I don't know, but I guess, it's adrenaline.
But I didn't want to do it afterwards. That was my first.
I would imagine.
Okay, that's my first time and last time.
Yes.
I never would go on.
And it was the last year that sport wasn't in the Olympics, no matter what.
There was one more year.
And then
they stopped it because it was so dangerous. So I could have been dead, really, but I didn't have the strength and or the capability. There were others. But I think my tenacity, what took me down, wasn't my strength or my skill. Because these guys are all like, all these guys have been doing it for 20 years. Since they were 3 years old, they throw them on a ski slope. I didn't have that. Everybody made fun of me. There was other people who, they had like some Jamaica ski team or something. They make fun of all these people who shouldn't be in this kind of sport. As an Arab, for sure, I've never done it in the past, but I did do it when I was 10 years old. I did ski for, a couple of hours or something. But really, I should not have been there. But I enjoyed it.
Wow, which is an amazing experience to have in life. I'm all about that. You only have one life and you better enjoy it and have as many experiences as you want, especially if you can be alive. That's even better.
Alive is good.
And after that, you came to California and you decided after going through the whole stock process, which was so different compared to everything you ever did, which I absolutely love how you can pivot from one side to completely different.
Well, in life, you have to kind of change as the market changes, as you change, as what is it that you desire in your life.
Do you think it's harder for men and women to pivot? Because since I interview mainly women, and for women, a lot of times we don't have a choice because we are mothers, and we just have to, as I call it, survival mode. You just do what needs to be done. Do you think it's harder for a man or for a woman to pivot? Because man has ego. I believe that a lot of times for a man, especially if they were somewhere and they were achieving here, then fall down, it takes them a while to get back on track.
Well, I think it's hard to even take care of the children and the husband and so on in life. And women have to be tenacious, and women have to be strong and powerful to create a good family, a solid family. And my mother said to me, do whatever you want because you'll do well. You put that in your head. Your mother at the age of 1, 2, 3, I used to paint and I would sell my paintings to her girlfriends. And she would like, don't you think my son is great? And, I'm like, mother, do you want to sell me? I'll show them my paintings. So she was selling my paintings to her friends. They come in, you want to buy my child's paintings? So she was always a coach. She was very, very good mother.
But was she coaching your sisters to be a housewife or also go and build your own empire?
I think she wanted everybody to do what they want. All my sisters were well educated. My sister Rada, she became the first probably president of a bank in America, an Arab or just woman, until probably 80s or 90s, and the woman became like chairman or president of banks or institutions. She was one. My other sister was an interior designer. She was one of the great. She came work for me at the time. And my other sister came to work for me as well. My mother wanted her kids to be all of them.
So they were more modern thinking, because I would imagine in the Arab culture, the woman's raised to create a family, to be a wife and a mother.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore. That was, before the 50s, before even the. But when we were refugees, the mindset has changed. You need to take care of your family, you need to take care of yourself, and you have to be free. And that's where we were. They're all my sisters. Yeah, some of them became wives and mothers and did not do much except being that. But the rest were always had jobs, all of them.
For a person who achieved so many things in this life, who created one of the most beautiful buildings in the world, who lived his full life, obviously, is there anything you wish you would have changed or you would have done that you haven't done before?
The only thing that I wanted to do is, never was about creating new legacy. It's creating a peaceful legacy. Like I wanted my family to live in peace. I want them to go see their family home in Palestine and whatever. My mother's goal was at one time, she told me, Mohamed, whatever you do in your life, I want you to make sure that if I pass away, take me home to my mother and father and sisters in Nazareth and have me buried there. I was not able to do that for her.
I know your mom played a big role in your life, and especially you talk so much about her, and now you're writing a book with your mama's cooking.
Yeah.
What is the Arab cooking and your mama's cooking that you remember as a kid?
Well, my mother was like the center of our lives. All my children, my 2 ex-wives, both loved her, and she loved everybody. She was such a woman that brought everybody together. She was always the center of our attention. She was the center of our life. When I lived in Virginia and she was there, everybody ended up at my mother's house. We all ate together. She would teach us how to teach the girls and me, as I love to cook like my mother. I mean, I learned cooking from my mother. I love cooking. So I wrote a book about cooking with a couple of chefs from the Middle East. My kids, they all learn how to cook, except for one. But the others are, great chefs because of my mom. She was not only that, is to love people around you, regardless of what religion they are, what nationality they are. You respect them and treat them equally. My mother is only always said, bring all your friends. I used to have a lot of Jewish friends, for example. I used to bring them home. She would say, do you want halal food? You want this? Because she knows she always welcomed everyone. All my friends were welcomed at home. So that's my mother. I mean, she was really a great woman. My father was mostly working to keep up for feeding the 8 kids and the wife. And he was very hospitable as well. But he was a very innocent man, yet very smart and very well educated. He was an Oxford graduate. So he really was, he wanted to make sure his family is well educated and well behaved as well. They never allowed us to hate, ever. So that's why we're still until today, very self-love.
Right now, your mom is watching us from above. Is there anything you would like to tell her?
Yes, I want to tell her I'm sorry I couldn't get you to Palestine.
Well, maybe one day. Where's hope?
It made me cry.
It's still, everything is possible in life, and hopefully one day you will make her wish come true.
Maybe, we'll see.
And on this beautiful note, speaking about the woman who gave birth, I want to thank you, Mohamed, for coming and sharing your story. Thank you so much.
It made me cry.
me.